Purchase agreement practice questions. Question 1. A buyer representative asks about unqualified agreement to the terms of an offer communicated in the authorized manner. Which answer provides the legally accurate concept? Option A, purchase agreement. Option B, liquidated damages. Option C, acceptance. Option D, lease. The correct answer is option C, acceptance. Changing a material term normally creates a counteroffer rather than unqualified assent. Timing and communication rules determine when the agreement becomes binding. Silence generally does not constitute consent unless an established legal exception applies. Question 2. Samuel encounters an agreement formed by an exchange of promises during a contract revision. Which principle should guide the analysis? Option A, rescission. Option B, right of first refusal. Option C, executed contract. Option D, bilateral contract. The correct answer is option D, bilateral contract. Most purchase agreements create reciprocal duties to convey title and pay the price. Each party becomes obligated when the promises are accepted. Performance occurs later even though the agreement is formed at acceptance. Question 3. Which choice best matches the description a contractual right to match or accept terms when an owner decides to sell? Option A, right of first refusal. Option B, open listing. Option C, novation. Option D, executed contract. The correct answer is option A, right of first refusal. The right does not usually force the owner to offer the property before deciding to market it. The wording controls notice, timing, and covered transactions. Once a qualifying third-party offer exists, the holder receives the opportunity defined by the agreement. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. During review of a retail suite in Gaithersburg, the parties discuss a contract transferring possession and use for a term while the owner retains title. Which term applies? Option A, rescission. Option B, lease. Option C, unilateral contract. Option D, offer. The correct answer is option B, lease. The document does not convey fee ownership to the occupant. The tenant receives of the rental agreement hold interest and owes duties stated in the agreement and law. Rent, duration, maintenance, and permitted use are central terms. Question 5. An exam scenario presents a contractually stated amount recoverable after breach when it reasonably estimates anticipated loss. Which answer is most accurate? Option A, lease. Option B, right of first refusal. Option C, liquidated damages. Option D, exclusive agency listing. The correct answer is option C, liquidated damages. Courts may refuse enforcement when the amount operates as an excessive penalty. Earnest money clauses must be read carefully to determine the party's agreed remedy. The provision should compensate rather than punish the breaching party. Question 6. A licensee preparing for a lease negotiation must recognize an otherwise valid agreement that a court will not enforce because of a legal defense. Which concept does this describe? Option A, right of first refusal. Option B, statute of frauds. Option C, buyer representation agreement. Option D, unenforceable contract. The correct answer is option D, unenforceable contract. This status differs from an agreement that was void at formation. The underlying promises may have been lawful and supported by consideration. A missing required writing or expiration of a limitations period can prevent judicial enforcement. Question 7. Which answer correctly classifies a situation involving a court remedy ordering a party to carry out contractual duties? Option A, specific performance. Option B, assignment. Option C, offer. Option D, option contract. The correct answer is option A, specific performance. The remedy is available when money damages are inadequate and the agreement is sufficiently definite. Real estate is considered unique, which can support this relief in a purchase dispute. Equitable defenses and the claimant's own performance affect availability. Question 8. At a title examination in Holland, Elena explains an agreement with one or more material obligations still to be performed. Which real estate principle is involved? Option A, lease. Option B, executory contract. Option C, executed contract. Option D, bilateral contract. The correct answer is option B, executory contract. The contract may be fully signed even though performance is incomplete. A pending sales contract remains in this status until closing duties are completed or the agreement ends. Contingencies and deadlines continue to govern the parties. Are you looking for real estate actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access real estate study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get real estate answer key today. Question 9. A transaction file for a rental home raises an issue involving a listing in which the broker earns the agreed compensation if the property sells during the term regardless of who finds the buyer. Which answer best resolves the classification? Option A, acceptance. Option B, assignment. Option C, exclusive right minus to minus sell listing. Option D, liquidated damages. The correct answer is option C, exclusive right minus to minus sell listing. The owner's own sale normally triggers compensation unless the agreement creates a specific exception. The broker must still perform the promised marketing and representation duties. This arrangement provides the strongest compensation protection to the listing broker. Question 10. Which concept should an associate broker apply to facts involving an arrangement in which the owner sets a desired net amount and the broker keeps the excess as compensation? Option A, executory contract. Option B, exclusive agency listing. Option C, right of first refusal. Option D, a net listing. The correct answer is option D, net listing. A licensee must follow state law and fiduciary duties rather than assume it is permitted. The structure creates a serious conflict because the broker benefits from a larger spread rather than a transparent fee. Many jurisdictions prohibit or restrict this arrangement. Question 11. Victor is studying a rule concerning a contract provision making stated deadlines material duties. Which term should be chosen? Option A, time is of the essence. Option B, specific performance. Option C, assignment. Option D, liquidated damages. The correct answer is option A, time is of the essence. The clause should be applied to the deadlines covered by its wording. Parties can waive strict enforcement through conduct or written modification. Failure to perform on time can constitute breach without the flexibility otherwise allowed by reasonable minus delay principles. Question 12. When a duplex transaction involves substitution of a new party or obligation with consent that releases the original party, which answer identifies the controlling concept? Option A, bilateral contract. Option B, novation. Option C, rescission. Option D, avoidable contract. The correct answer is option B, novation. This distinguishes the arrangement from a simple assignment of rights. The former obliger is discharged rather than remaining secondarily liable. All necessary parties must agree to the replacement. Question 13. A practice question describes a definite proposal communicated with intent to be bound upon acceptance. Which response is best in the settlement preparation described? Option A, void contract. Option B, a net listing. Option C, offer. Option D, bilateral contract. The correct answer is option C, offer. The terms must be sufficiently clear for the recipient to understand the proposed bargain. An advertisement is usually an invitation to negotiate unless it is unusually specific and leaves nothing open. The proposal can terminate through revocation, rejection, counter-proposal, lapse, or operation of law. Question 14. During a contract revision, which principle is illustrated by a contract authorizing a manager to operate rental property on behalf of an owner? Option A, option contract. Option B, offer. Option C, time is of the essence. Option D, property management agreement. The correct answer is option D, property management agreement. The manager owes duties created by agency law and licensing rules. The agreement should define authority, compensation, accounting, maintenance limits, and reporting. Trust funds must be handled separately and records maintained as required. Question 15. Which answer states the concept associated with a written contract defining the broker's duties, scope of representation, term, and compensation for a buyer-client? Option A, buyer representation agreement. Option B, time is of the essence. Option C, contingency. Option D, a rescission. The correct answer is option A, buyer representation agreement. The agreement establishes agency and explains how the broker will be paid. The buyer and licensee must understand potential compensation from other transaction participants. It should address exclusivity, termination, and the property or market covered. Question 16. A investor handling a single-family home in Silver Spring must identify an agreement accepted through completion of the requested act rather than a return promise. Which choice is correct? Option A, novation. Option B, unilateral contract. Option C, property management agreement. Option D, a rescission. The correct answer is option B, unilateral contract. The exact formation rules depend on the offer terms and applicable law. The offeror seeks performance as the method of acceptance. An option can create a one-sided obligation because the owner must keep the offer open while the holder may choose whether to exercise. Question 17. During an offer review for an office building in Grand Rapids, Gavin needs to identify the rule described as a listing allowing the owner to avoid brokerage compensation by personally finding the buyer. Which answer applies? Option A, statute of frauds. Option B, counteroffer. Option C, exclusive agency listing. Option D, acceptance. The correct answer is option C, exclusive agency listing. The owner retains a limited right to sell without owing the agreed fee. The exact result depends on the written agreement and procuring minus cost terms. The broker earns compensation when the broker or another broker produces the buyer. Question 18. A landlord is reviewing a waterfront parcel in Detroit. Which term describes something of legal value exchanged to support a contract? Option A, voidable contract. Option B, open listing. Option C, valid contract. Option D, a consideration. The correct answer is option D, consideration. Earnest money may evidence seriousness but is not always required for contract validity. Courts generally examine legal sufficiency rather than whether the bargain was economically equal. The exchange can consist of money, a promise, an act, or forbearance. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. At a pre-listing meeting, a Michigan exam candidate encounters the following description: transfer of contractual rights from one party to another. Which concept is being tested? Option A, assignment. Option B, rescission. Option C, statute of frauds. Option D, option contract. The correct answer is option A, assignment. The original party transfers a benefit but may remain responsible for obligations unless released. The contract or law may restrict the transfer of contractual rights when personal performance is important. Notice helps protect the transferee and the party who must perform. Question 20. Yasmin is assisting with a historic residence transaction in Colombia. Which principle applies when the facts involve an agreement with no legal effect from the beginning? Option A, a valid contract. Option B, void contract. Option C, voidable contract. Option D, a rescission. The correct answer is option B, void contract. Later approval ordinarily cannot cure an agreement that was never legally valid. No party can enforce an arrangement that lacks a fundamental legal requirement or has an illegal purpose. This differs from a contract that is valid unless a protected party chooses to avoid it. Question 21. Which answer most accurately identifies an agreement that remains enforceable unless a party with a legal right elects to rescind in a real estate transaction? Option A, exclusive right to sell listing. Option B, executory contract. Option C, voidable contract. Option D, a specific performance. The correct answer is option C, voidable contract. The protected party may affirm or reject the transaction depending on the circumstances. The other party cannot automatically treat the agreement as non-existent. Fraud, duress, or lack of capacity can create this status. Question 22. A question arising during inspection period concerns an agreement containing competent parties, lawful objective, offer and acceptance, consideration, and required formalities. Which choice gives the best classification? Option A, unilateral contract. Option B, exclusive right to sell listing. Option C, novation. Option D, a valid contract. The correct answer is option D, valid contract. Some real estate agreements must also satisfy writing and signature requirements. A binding agreement requires mutual assent to definite terms and legally sufficient consideration. The parties must have capacity and the purpose cannot violate law or public policy. Question 23. While analyzing a small apartment building, PREA must apply the concept involving a contract condition allowing performance obligations to depend on a specified event. Which answer should be selected? Option A, a contingency. Option B, executed contract. Option C, bilateral contract. Option D, novation. The correct answer is option A, contingency. The party benefiting from the provision must comply with notice and deadline requirements. Failure of the condition can permit termination if the clause is properly invoked. Financing, appraisal, inspection, and sale minus property conditions allocate transaction risk. Question 24. Which real estate term is defined by a non-exclusive arrangement allowing multiple brokers to seek a buyer, with compensation generally owed to the successful procuring broker? Option A, novation. Option B, open listing. Option C, executory contract. Option D, property management agreement. The correct answer is option B, open listing. Clear documentation is important because competing efforts can create compensation disputes. No single broker receives exclusive marketing authority. The owner may also retain the right to sell independently without paying a broker. Question 25. In a transaction involving a condominium unit, which rule controls when there is an agreement in which all parties have completed their promised performance? Option A, bilateral contract. Option B, liquidated damages. Option C, executed contract. Option D, option contract. The correct answer is option C, executed contract. No material contractual duties remain outstanding after full performance. The term describes performance status rather than the presence of signatures. A signed purchase contract awaiting closing is usually still executory.